Come gather round the campfire and hear our ghostly tales of chilling terrors, darkest woes, and anything that goes bump in the night. So cuddle up with your best friend or dare it alone. The darkness is closing in and spirits are calling your name. This is Fireside Phantoms.
Yep, we're on.
We're in business.
We're in business.
With another episode of Paranormal and Paranoid News.
Woohoo!
And I'm very happy to announce this to all our listeners. Holly.
Yes.
We're going to start off with a little advertisement.
We are?
We are.
For what?
So there's a new Harry Potter merchandise shop
my God.
that has opened recently in Manhattan, New York.
You're welcome, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Holly. I know it annoys you so much.
It doesn't annoy me.
It kind of does, but that's okay. I'm just excited about it. And from what I hear, it's really quite the shop. Full of wonderful surprises that only the wizarding world can provide. So from what I gather, you have to spend a really good amount of time in this store to really experience everything. The store website is recommending at least an hour in the store.
Well, really?
Of course, that could just be so that you don't leave without buying something.
Well, yeah, but they probably want you to learn all the magic tricks and everything Harry Potter has to offer.
And it does. It's pretty magical. So I'm not going to tell you everything in case some of you end up going, but just to give you an idea. So do you remember the Quidditch game where they fly around on the brooms chasing this golden ball with
the golden
wings?
snitch?
Yes. So the golden snitch will randomly appear in the air and buzz around you while you're shopping.
Oh my God.
That's got to be some drone magic.
That's
I believe.
pretty cool.
There's also a wonderful golden phoenix that hangs down from the ceiling. It was made from the actual props team that worked on the Harry Potter movies.
Nice.
This is where you would spend your time. They have a butterbeer bar where you can buy draft bottles and ice cream flavored butterbeer.
Is there alcohol in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
There is. And they also have a wand shop where when you select one, you can test out the magic in a virtual reality experience.
That's very cool.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
There's also a dark arts section and a confectionery shop complete with chocolate frogs. So if
I like that they have a dark arts section.
I know, it's amazing. If anyone goes, think of us, report back, send pics.
Yeah. You said it's in New York?
It is Manhattan, New York.
Really? That's very cool.
And they have unique merchandise in there you can't get anywhere else.
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah, it'll attract a lot of fans, of course.
Yeah. I would love to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that advertisement out of the way, let's get on with some real paranormal and paranoid news.
Let's do it.
My first story comes from a TikTok paranormal video that has gone viral.
I love TikTok. I've lost so many days of my life to TikTok.
So it's gone viral of a woman who tells about moving into a new home and has a very creepy dream. Gina Sauvé says she moved into their home with her fiance in August of last year, and we're told that they had had one previous owner living in the house before them. But just as they officially signed the paperwork, they were told that someone did die in the house.
Of course. The second the pen left the paper. Oh, by the way.
Someone did die in your house.
Someone did die in the house. It's probably haunted, but it's yours now, so enjoy.
Have fun.
Fuckers.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So the new owner, Gina, said she was not happy with this news, but tried not to think about it as she was just really excited to be owning their home. On the very first night, as she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed that a little girl visited her while she was sitting on a park bench watching other children play on the playground. A little girl came up to her, took both of her hands, and asked her, "Can I show you something?" When she told the girl yes in the dream, they were all of a sudden transported to her new home, standing in front of a cupboard off of one of their hallways. Gina said they had not unpacked anything yet, except for their phones and, of course, the bed that they would sleep in because, they're just so tired with the move.
Yeah.
She said there was absolutely nothing hanging in the closets yet. In the dream, the little girl opened the door of the cupboard and showed her something her father had given to her. Gina said she was shown a red rosary bead necklace with a cross sitting on one of the shelves. Gina said at this point the dream ended and she woke up, being compelled and shaken to search the cupboard just to ease her mind because it was such a weird dream. She immediately went there. And I know how you know how this story ends, Holly.
I do.
Yep. Well, I'm surprised you haven't guessed yet. You always do.
I don't think she's going to find those red rosary
Well,
beads.
she did. So, yeah. God, Holly. Some sidekick you are. You're
sorry.
supposed to
I wanted to surprise you by acting like I had no idea where the story was going.
Okay, good.
There you
well,
go.
so yes, listeners, she found the exact rosary necklace.
No.
Even
really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
With the same red color and the cross on the shelf in the exact spot the little girl showed her in the dream. So since she's had this dream over this last year, she's had so many interesting things happen with her haunted house. Gina claims her nights are restless with her waking up to slamming doors, opening and shutting, her lights being turned on. And the comments on her stories are great. So some of them are saying quote, a hidden rosary means demons were present. Some are writing,
see? Hello.
yes. Some are writing, run, don't walk, run, get out of the house right now.
I wrote all of those comments.
Thanks, Holly. But what worries me, okay, so if you listen to our past story on the demons from Lorraine, Warren episode.
Yeah.
It worries me because, first of all, this little girl asked permission in the dream to show her the object. Remember, in the dream, they were outside the house at first in a park.
Okay.
After she said yes, boom, the spirit demon girl now has full access to the home. She's now been invited.
Like a black-eyed kid?
No, like a demon, like Annabelle,
Right.
that girl that then has. They
But
say
in
that
the
you have to
dream-
invite them in.
Right. But so it was a dream. So that means in a dream, if they ask to come in, you still have to tell them no to fuck off.
I think so. You have to tell them no.
So that's new information. We did not know that could happen in your dream.
Well, I think
probably gonna have this
Insidious
dream
the
tonight.
movie. Yeah,
probably
bad
gonna
things
have-
can happen in real life
Oh my
in your
God.
dreams.
They can get you on real life and in your subconscious life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's creepy music here
I'm
now.
probably going to
Dun,
have
dun, dun,
a
yeah.
dream tonight about in which a child is like, hey, I'll show you where the bad demons are in your house. Just let me in.
That always happens to me. I hear a scary story or read a scary story, and then boom, my dreams are just so affected.
Ugh, jeez.
That's why you gotta always read something fun or make yourself happy before bed.
The
Anything.
other night I had I could not sleep. I don't know. I just had so much anxiety, and then I ended up having 2 nightmares.
Oh, that's
And
the worst.
I literally slept 3 hours because I was so stressed out, and I just was like, oh my God, it was
So
too much.
I hate that. So do you remember when it was reported that exorcisms in the U.S. are at an all-time high?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're being done right at a Home Depot.
Yeah, I did hear about this one.
So this was a report
Oh,
seen on a
love it.
variety of news channels. So it just goes to show the world's getting stranger every day.
I thought about this. They probably
Yeah,
had to
but-
go to the Home Depot to get wood to make the crucifix, and they thought, well, let's just bring Charles with us, and we'll just put him down on the thing, and then do the
Yeah.
exorcism right here.
And it was reported that a group was congregating and performing a seance/exorcism in the lumber aisle at a Pennsylvania Home Depot located in Lackawanna County. The exorcism was held on June 21st, which is a special day for those who celebrate the summer solstice.
Yeah.
Supposedly, they were doing a ritual for the dead trees. And, I'm shocked this was not at a Home Depot in Oregon because we love our trees, but
Sure.
we're also terrified of our trees falling on our homes.
During a windstorm, yeah.
Yeah, and it's very disappointing that of all the people usually shopping in Home Depot, not one got any of this on their camera footage on their
Damn.
phone. I know, I cannot believe it.
Shoot.
And not many details were given, but everyone knows an interrupted exorcism means only one thing.
That Home Depot is super haunted now.
It's completely haunted.
Yes.
Yes, and it will get worse, especially if the lumber is near the garden or power tool section. I would hate to think that they transferred the demon tree into a chainsaw, lawnmower, or even a hoe. Do you like that one?
A hoe.
Yes.
I think they should sage that entire Home Depot a lot.
Okay, so the best part of this story, guys, is all the comments from people reading these articles online. Here are some of the best.
Yeah.
What are they trying to do? Resurrect Christmas? You're 6 months too early. Oh, they're trying to blame high prices of lumber on the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this one. They were all escorted out 2x4. Another comment.
I like it.
Yeah. Wow. Someone wanted to take possession of all that lumber. This one. May the price of lumber come down and the name of Christ compels you. Whoever did the exorcism, can we please be friends? And I find it fascinating that on the same day of this exorcism, the police were also called about dog waste in the Home Depot. So clearly,
Same Home Depot?
Same Home Depot. So clearly there was something very unclean lurking in this place, excrement and exorcism. And we know dogs are very sensitive to these kinds of things.
Were the dogs involved in the exorcism?
I don't think so.
Were the dogs possessed by a demon?
They probably are now. And my last favorite comment someone posted was, quote, I will light a candle for the lumber at Lowe's. End quote. They were probably friends.
People are
The trees
funny.
were friends. I know,
Yeah.
it was great.
That's great.
So that's my story about that. And people who, you don't bank with Chase, do you?
No.
That's right. We bank at the same bank.
We're at the same bank.
Okay, we're not going to say what that is. But anyway, people that bank with Chase might start to feel that their checking and savings accounts need an exorcism in light of some really strange things happening recently. Several people are reporting that the balance that they're seeing in their accounts are just simply out of this world.
Huh.
One lady, after a night out partying, checked her account balance and saw she was negative $49 billion.
That would suck. Where's my $49 billion?
It's like how many people were in that bar last night? Freaked out, she called Chase Bank, who apologized to her and said, look, it was just a recent policy change they had made on blocked accounts that were suspected of fraudulent activity. And by putting this gigantic figure, it would prompt the account holder to immediately call them for verifying. I think that's pretty clever because, you wouldn't want to ignore that.
Right.
And you would definitely want to call them right back.
It definitely get your attention.
Unless there was a train nearby
Right.
and you were depressed. And then you probably were not going to call them back. But anyway.
You're like, I don't really care.
Don't even want to care about that. And then another lady woke up to a big surprise of over $50 billion deposited in her account overnight.
Wait, maybe they took it out of the one lady's account and put it in this other lady's account.
Except for the other lady never had $50 billion.
Would you really
So-
call the bank and say, where did all this money come
Yeah.
from? I'd be like, I'm going shopping right this second.
now.
Right this second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you wonder whose account they mysteriously took all that money from accidentally.
Whoops.
The whole thing is pretty alarming to me because considering more and more banks are putting everything online and they're doing away with their bank or brick and mortar shops.
Yeah.
It's really easy to start being freaked out that your money could just vanish or
So
just
it's
wind
all
up
digital numbers now. You don't even see your
Right.
money.
Or
It's
just-
yeah.
or just wind up in someone else's bank account in a blink of an eye.
And as we know, as from The Handmaid's Tale, that's when the change started. We all had just digital currency, and then they decided to take away your digital currency until you adhered with the new rules.
That's right.
So
That
it is kind of
was-
scary.
that
Yeah.
was,
That's why I've never wanted cash to go away or credit to go away because
Right.
you just don't know if it's all consolidated into just one form of payment or one kind of currency. You just, that's a little weird.
That's why you need to have like many forms of
Yeah.
currency.
Yes. Yeah.
To keep that from happening.
Yeah.
We've all heard about the horrible condo tower collapse in Florida.
Yeah.
At this point in time, there seems to be very few survivors, which is really sad.
It's very sad.
The agony, I think, of waiting to hear on a missing family member can really take its toll on someone.
Yeah.
And there's a really sad story that's circulating right now. It seems a family whose grandparents were former residents in the building have been receiving phone calls from a landline belonging to the grandparents who were listed among the missing.
The landline coming from inside that apartment complex.
Yes.
Really?
Arnie and Miriam Notkin were residents living on the 3rd floor, which is in the section that collapsed when the building came down. The grandson, Jake Samuelson, said his mother keeps receiving calls, totaling 16 different times the phone has rung from their grandparents' phone number since the crash.
Huh.
The first call was received about 20 hours after the building collapsed.
Yeah.
The family had left to hear the latest news on the search efforts at the Gathering Center, along with other anxious families. And when they got back home, they found an additional 15 calls were recorded on the caller ID, all from this same number.
But no messages were left.
Right. At first, they thought nothing of it because they were all sitting together in the living room, and when they answered the phone, it was just static.
Oh, wow.
But with this repeated calling, you can imagine it's pretty unsettling.
Yeah, I bet.
So, days have gone by, and the New York Post checked back in with the family a few days later, confirming with the family that the calls are still being received. Each time they try to return the call, it's just met with a busy signal. So now they're up to about a total of 20 calls received.
Really?
And at first, they were hoping this might be a good way for the rescue crews to narrow in on finding them.
Yeah.
But because so much time has passed, the family now thinks there's just an issue in regards to that number with AT&T, the provider of that. And they have, the news people have reached out to AT&T, but AT&T has not received a response. Like they've not given a response.
They've not responded to the questions.
Regarding the issue. So many who are commenting on this story, and again, this story has gone viral, are speculating it might be the grandparents trying to say a final goodbye to the family, and that's really gut-wrenching.
Or call for help.
If they're still alive. But,
Yeah.
I've heard stories similar where people will get a final phone call or a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll even hear things like their name being spoken and then find out later that their loved ones have passed.
Yeah.
So it's just a terrible story.
So have they
all around.
found them?
No, they
have
haven't.
not
They're
found
not
them?
among the ones that they have found yet.
Oh.
At least up at this point, we're recording July 11th. So
Sure.
no.
Yeah.
That could change once you hear this. But anyway, on to our next story.
Oh, that's sad.
We have touched a bit on time travel stories.
Yes, we have.
I've been waiting on a really good time to talk about an alleged time travel device which does not transport physically a person through time, but it supposedly allows the viewer to see into the past, like a fly on the
Oh,
wall
I
and
would
relive
love that.
historical events.
So many cool things you could find out
What
what
would you-
actually happened.
I'd like to see Woodstock. I
Yeah.
think that'd be kind of fun. And also, Rome. I think that'd be so cool.
I would want to see the truth behind a mystery. Like I'd want to be able to see
like miracles or something.
no, like what did create Stonehenge and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. Like or the pyramids or who did kill JFK or that type of thing.
Right. That would be cool to know who did build the pyramids.
Yeah.
That would be a big one for
What
me.
happened to Maura Murray? That's what
Right.
I really like to know.
And what did Cleopatra really look like?
Yeah.
All of these things.
Yeah.
So, guess who is rumored to have this device? The Vatican. It is called the Coronavizer and was discussed by two monks who felt like the world needed to know of this technology.
Huh.
This special machine was discussed in a book written by priest Father Francis Brunet called Le Nouveau Mystery du Vatican.
Nice. Nicely done.
I don't know what it is. I think it's called The New Mystery of the Vatican in 2002 or Le Nouveau Mystery du Vatican in 2002. Brunet said he met Ernetti, another monk, on a boat ride while traveling in Venice back in 1960. They were both students of ancient languages and had much in common to talk about. They started to discuss all the ways the Bible could be easily misinterpreted, and that is when Ernetti confessed there was a way to access the real truth through a device he helped to build. Pellegrino Ernetti worked for the Vatican and said the Chronovisor was built by himself, an Italian scientist and priest who worked for the Vatican, and he claimed the machine named the Chronovisor was used during the 1960s until the 1990s to view historical events like the crucifixion of Jesus and the death of Julius Caesar.
Those are good ones.
Yeah, the Vatican has been rumored to have a vast archive of historical documents and archived secrets and artifacts. This became an even more popular theory with, of course, Dan Brown's book, The Da Vinci Code.
Oh, yeah.
That was a very controversial book.
Yeah. I like that book.
Nobody has ever come forward, though, with the proof that this device exists. But when interviewed, Father Brunet said he believes it definitely did. Ernetti helped build the device along with 12 other scientists, one who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for Physics in 1938, scientist Fermi, and the famous ex-Nazi von Braun, who also worked at NASA on the science needed for traveling to the moon. So these were some really smart dudes.
Yeah.
The Vatican used the time machine to make sure they were interpreting the past and validating the teachings in the Bible as accurate. The science behind the machine involved using wavelength signals with sound and light to pick up past recorded events. The machine had 3 antennas made of unknown metals that was able to pick up very sensitive light waves. Like a radio, the machine could be tuned to a specific time in the past and worked much like a television. Ernetti said it was his privilege to be able to see these events, and he also saw the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah and kept a couple pictures, one being from the recorded copy of the Lord's Supper as a souvenir. An Italian magazine that covered the story published an article in 1972 showing supposedly a picture from the Coronavizer of the Romans crucifying Jesus. While this story seems to be so outlandish and crazy, the weird thing was that the Vatican made a statement in 1988 that if, quote, anyone used an instrument of these characteristics, they would be excommunicated. Ernetti, before he died, wrote an open letter once again affirming he was telling the truth and that the device worked and existed. He accused Pope Pius XII for keeping this secret and forbidding us to disclose any details. The Pope said it was very dangerous, and it can restrain the freedom of man, which is a really strange thing to say, don't you think?
I think it would be the opposite.
Many skeptics have tried to debunk one of Ernetti's photographs, which they say was just a cheap reproduction of a wooden statue of Jesus that resides in an Umbrian church. And some have thought that it was just a reverse copy of the image of Jesus from another postcard that was previously made in Colle Valenza, Italy. Paracelsus magazine wrote an article in 1996 which says the machine described is too close to another device mentioned in a sci-fi novel published in 1947. But I was reminded of another series of books I read called The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East by Baird T. Spalding, who in 1894, along with 11 other men, traveled to Tibet, India, and China to find the great spiritual teachers of the Far East and witness their uncommon abilities. In this book, the author tells of the ability of some of the monks to view the past using any flat surface like a wall, which played out the sights and the sounds of historical true events as if they were watching it live on a projector screen. This is weird to me because it's so similar to the function of the Coronavizer, and the author swears everything in the books he witnessed was true. Yeah, and it really goes to show there is more and more science lining up with the fact that time and events are recorded through electromagnetic radiation that's left behind these traumatic or really historic events. And supposedly the Coronavizer worked in this way. It had a remarkable ability to also record the sounds from these events. It was said a relative of Ernetti had heard a deathbed confession admitting it was all a hoax. However, Brunet, his friend, said if one was ever made, he believes it was made under pressure from the Catholic Church and therefore would be a false confession. But other than that one relative speaking out, there's no actual proof Ernetti ever had a conversation with anyone involving a confession, including speaking with his relative on his deathbed.
And they never found the machine, but the idea is that the Vatican has it.
Well, some theories are circulating that the Catholic Church destroyed the device after it realized,
I bet they did.
After it realized the history it showed them did not match what the Bible and Church was teaching. But others claim no, it is still being used by the Vatican and world leaders to control the general public's knowledge of our true history.
If this story is true, and he did develop this machine, other people can figure that out too. So they could come up with another machine and use it to look at how history actually happened, or let's say they're looking for somebody. Where is that person? Like,
Yeah, and
I'm looking for this information. Where can I find it?
Right. And there's some theories that there's computers called DWave computing, and there's only about 4 or 5 in the entire world. And they're very expensive to own. Google has one. Canada has one. We have one. I think China has one. And these D-Wave computers are ability to have an ability to take quantum information and hypothetically do every outcome to predict what the best path forward is. It's kind of like taking statistics and really being able to show your future of what is the best outcome for what's happening with economies.
Do you think our government uses it?
Oh, I think it's used that way. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you had a tool that you could use that, it would be an amazing thing.
It's a D-Wave computer?
Yeah.
Where do you pick one up?
I don't know. Google it, because Google owns one.
I have lots of questions about what decisions I should make and what would be the best outcome. And I could just put everything into that D-Wave computer and let it tell me what the best options are.
Or you can use your higher intelligence that already knows and use
tarot
the tarots or ask for a dream.
For some reason, I feel like a computer telling me makes me feel more secure. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Probably, it's not you relying on your own intuition. I have one last story here.
Okay.
So this is a really cool story just out regarding, remember the Magic 8-Ball?
Yeah.
Mood rings, Magic 8-Balls, such blasts from our past.
Yeah.
You know, the 8-Ball never gave me the answer I wanted, so I kept shaking it until it would always say maybe. And maybe to me always meant yes.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I would end there. I'd be like, okay, that's good. It's a maybe. Stuart Gorman decided to make a copy of this well-known toy, but he is calling his version the Tragic Fate Ball. Get it? Fate versus 8.
Nice.
And the only question you can ask is how someone will die.
Ah, okay.
Such a great gift for kids. I'm definitely adding this to my Christmas list.
Not morbid at all.
Not at all. Great white elephant or Secret Santa surprise for those office parties we aren't having right now. But
maybe I'll get you one for Christmas.
Oh, yes. It would be cool to ask it how we're going to die. I've always wondered.
Is it going to be like the Grizzly Crumb Timies where there's...
So instead of the 8-Ball logo, they've switched it out for a skulls and crossbones. And I think they should have made it look like a hand grenade. Or maybe a black cube, more in line with death. But no, even a hockey puck would be better than an 8-Ball. Because if you ever get hit with a hockey puck, you're pretty much dead. But instead, it is just like the 8-Ball. And it's all digital. It's been upgraded. Instead of the triangle floaty thing, it has an LCD digital screen. Oh. And it selects messages based on a randomly generated number. So it's likely then that ghosts can still be influencing it.
Okay.
Okay, so here are some of the answers the Tragic Fate Ball will give. Running with scissors. Shot by the Dalai Lama. Okay. I'm sure he's happy about that one.
Sure.
Swallowed a Rubik's Cube. Such a common accident and really odd considering we just had an episode on cubes.
And it's too big to swallow unless
they were
you're a
listening,
snake.
Obviously. They got inspired by our episode. And an Oregon favorite of mine, death by a falling whale.
Exploding whale.
Yeah. Nice. So, I don't know if there's a waiting list, guys, but I would get your name on one of these if you're trying to get it shipped out by Christmas.
There you go.
Thank you, and you're welcome. That's your paranormal and paranoid news.
What are we going to do our tarot reading on?
Well, we are... how you're going to die, Holly. I think that's great. No, I'm kidding.
No, pass.
Okay, all right. We're going to pass on that. Let me think about this. I think we should either do the cards on if her house is being haunted by a demon.
Oh, that one lady with the little girl. Okay.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or we know Home Depot is in big trouble now.
So should we do that, lady? Is her house really haunted by the demon child?
Yeah, let's ask.
Okay.
And see what it says. It could just be a harmless little spirit. And
we'll see. We'll be right back. Carol, tell us about your deck and what you got.
Yes, I'm not sure if I've used this deck before. It's the Hush Tarot, and coincidentally, it's named after Jeremy Hush.
Hush,
who brought us this wonderful deck.
Hush.
And so my reading today is going to be completely silent in honor of Hush Tarot. No, I'm kidding.
Shh.
Okay, so my 3 cards I drew for this question: the Four of Wands reversed, Justice reversed.
The Four of Wands reversed.
Yes. Justice reversed and Four of Swords upright. So in interpreting this, if we start with the Four of Wands reversed, and I'm speaking of this in kind of a spiritual sense. I know all these cards have different meanings, based on the topic that you're reading for. But something was not resolved. An interpretation of this is putting a stop to celebrating an event or interrupting a momentous occasion. And because this is the first card, I'm interpreting this as really putting an end to celebrating her new home, because this event happened and it's causing great fear in her, and it's just kind of unsettling, to say the least. If we're really referring to possible spirit, maybe it was something that wasn't resolved with, a situation with this family that lived in the house before, or an entity that's in this house. My second card is Justice reversed. This is of course, major arcana card. And really, this is about a karmic lesson not being learned. It can also mean retribution for being wronged. So to me, that points to a demon, because it's negative energy. It's like wanting to seek out revenge or putting something right that was wrong. So possibly, they need to have resolution. The spirit wants help. But it also can refer to not heeding to warnings given. So if you're getting warnings and you get the Justice reversed card, it means you need to listen, because this could be a karmic lesson that you're repeating. And my last card is the Four of Swords upright. And typically, in a spiritual sense, this means meditation and rest, needed typically from an illness. But perhaps the spirit that this woman is experiencing in her dreams really needs to be put to a final rest, literally. Or my fear is, if she stays in this current energy, maybe she herself will be depleted and she will get very sick. I hope not. But those are my 2 different kinds of interpretations for what's going on. So in summary, yes, I do believe whatever's happening in the house is negative. It's not a positive spiritual experience, especially because of the Rosary. If it was anything else, I would be a little bit more calm
creepy
about it. But that kind of
creepy.
creeps me out. And the fact that this spirit keeps interrupting their sleep, and comes to her through dreams, that's pretty powerful. So,
can I add a third and possible interpretation to
Absolutely.
the Four of Swords? Perhaps because it is a card of meditation, it could be a psychic who comes in to communicate with the child.
There you go.
So that could
Very
be
good. That could
another
be
possibility.
That could be some advice for her.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's really interesting to me, the cards you got, because I got very similar cards. I also got the Four of Wands as my first card.
Yes.
And it's straight up,
Oh
not
my gosh.
reversed. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Wow.
And instead of the Justice card reversed, I got the Two of Swords reversed.
Interesting.
And instead of the Four of Swords, I got the Queen of Wands. And then I pulled a clarifying card for the Queen of Wands, which turned out to be the Eight of Wands. So I'm using the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, which is the gold standard for all tarot decks ever to, well, not all decks, but it is kind of the gold standard tarot deck that most tarot users learn from. And that is by it's by A.E. Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith. Some people call it the Rider-Waite Tarot deck because Rider was the name of the publishing company at the time it came out in 1909. But a lot of people will call it the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot deck because Pamela Coleman Smith was the artist and got left off of the original naming of the tarot deck. But now it's pretty much known as the Rider-Waite Smith to make sure she gets her due. So go girl.
Interesting lesson. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So for me, this is what I got. Four of Wands is her moving into her new house and being really excited about moving into her new house. And I think that having the initial connection with this child through her dream was the invitation inside. Like, that's why I think. And by the way, I think when I did my question, I was more focused on her in particular. So this is really directed mostly at, what's her name? Gina
Gina herself.
Yeah, the homeowner. So the Four of Wands, in my opinion, is her very excited about her new home. She's inviting this child in because she feels it is safe and it's good and she wants to help. And that is that initial connection around the house in which she's going to experience there. Now we get into the Two of Swords in the reverse position. I believe that after she moved in and she's still having these weird dreams and she's finding stuff, I think that she's starting to realize that this is not a good thing and the truth is coming out and it isn't good. She's been lied to and she's been deceived. She thought she was just helping a young girl and it turns out it's probably not just a young girl she's helping. So she's starting to wake up to the fact that this is not a good situation, like you said.
Right.
And then we end with the Queen of Wands with the clarifying of the Eight of Wands. I think that Gina is a strong personality, and I think she has a lot of energy and a lot of resources, and she's going to go and investigate and figure out what she needs to do, and the Eight of Wands is her taking that action. So I think she will probably seek out a psychic, or she will figure out how to clean her home and get rid of whatever is there. But yeah, whatever is there is not great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you got the card of messages because she's getting a lot of advice from everybody that's watching her story.
Sure. Yeah.
And hopefully she'll take heed of the warnings
Yeah.
and do something, not just let it get escalating.
I think she'll take action because the Queen of Wands is an action woman.
Absolutely.
And so is the Eight of Wands. So I think she's going to figure it out and take care of business.
Go, Gina, go.
Go, girl.
Just say no to the ghost
Do it.
demon,
Do
girl.
Well, that's it for us tonight. We hope you guys have a great week. We'll
Take care.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. What else? What was your first story?
I don't even remember. Whatever spirit is in that house, if it is a spirit, it wasn't resolved.
I don't know.
God
what's causing
dang it.
that.
My dinging keeps happening on my computer. As the flames die down, do remain undaunted.
Though all hitchhikers are ghosts,
And all dolls are definitely haunted.
hey guys, be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our handle is @FiresidePhantoms. If you have a spooky story you would like to share with us, send it to firesidephantoms@gmail.com and you may hear it on a future episode.